Hi all, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will discuss in detail about how we can find a rental accommodation in Germany. So the 6 key points that we are going to focus on in this video are: first one, the websites or other sources that you need to check in order to find a rental accommodation. Second one, important terms related to rent and housing. Third one, things you should consider when choosing an accommodation. Fourth, the documents required for renting. Fifth one is scam advertisements. And the last one is things you should know living here in Germany, regardless of whether you are a tenant or you live in your own house. So this is a very detailed video about rental accommodation. I can say that this is a complete guide. So I hope you all find it very informative. Now let's get into the video. Normally, if you are coming on a work permit visa, your company will provide accommodation mostly for a month. But after that, you'll have to find an accommodation on your own, and especially when you are looking for accommodations in the city side, it will be still more difficult. So now let's look at the different options available in order to search an accommodation. Firstly, if you are coming as a student in Germany, then you can check out this website called Studentenwerke. This organization runs in most of the cities in Germany and provides affordable accommodation for students studying in one or more universities in that particular city. So you can find more information about these accommodations in your respective university websites also. And I'll be mentioning all the links of the websites mentioned in this video in the description box. You can check that too. Suppose if you are employed and if you have come alone and not with your family, then initially you can look out for shared apartments if you are looking for a comparatively cheaper option. Check out this website known as WG Gesucht. Here click on Angebote and select WG Zimmer, which means shared rooms. So I'll just show you an example. Let's just click on this ad. So as you can see, this is a 16 meter square room, and the total rent that you have to pay is 400 euros. This 16 meter square means this is the size of your private room in that shared flat. And they have mentioned the address, and also they have mentioned about the people who are going to live with you, that is whether they are men or women, and they have also mentioned about their ages. And here they have mentioned more about that shared flat and also about the surroundings, so you can translate all this and read clearly. So in these shared flats, you will have to share the kitchen and toilet. So if you are okay with it, then this is a very good option. In this website, you also have options for searching for single room private accommodations and other flats or houses apart from the shared rooms. Now suppose if you have a family and if you are looking for a more spacious accommodation for a long term, or even if you are a student or an employed person, and suppose if you have not got an accommodation in a student room or shared apartment as I mentioned, then you can also check out for single room apartments in this website called Immobilien Scout 24. Again, in this website also you are not assured of getting an accommodation because you will have to face a lot of competition, just like a job hunt. So before going in detail about this website, I'll tell you about some other options for searching an accommodation. First, I would like to show you this website known as Airbnb. In this website, you can find private or shared rooms, again with shared kitchen or toilet. But these are mainly for short-term stays because they do not give you any rental contract or something, and these are really expensive. But if you do not get an accommodation anywhere in the above mentioned places, then you can keep this as the last option, and so you can stay here and then check out for rooms. Secondly, there are several private hostels in Germany which you can check in this website called Hostels World, or you can simply do a Google search. And these hostels provide single and double rooms, dormitories and so on, which are recommended again for short-term stays. Thirdly, there are some hotels in Germany which will offer a stay for a maximum a month with a discounted price. The next option is you can also find information about accommodations in the local German newspapers, but as an expat I feel that this may not be an easy option because you may not be familiar with the housing terms used in these ads. The last option would be there are several Facebook groups related to Germany. I'm not going to mention any of the names. So if you just post a request that you are looking for an accommodation in any of these groups, mentioning all your requirements, I'm sure that someone in the group will be able to answer you or even help you find an accommodation. Now let us look in detail about the Immobilien Scout 24 website. Here you have to select Mieten, which means to rent, and here you can give your city name, and here you have to select whether you want a Wohnung, a house, a Wegezimmer or whatever. So I'm selecting Wohnung here, which means flat, and here you can enter the price till what price you want to see. And here you can give the number of rooms that you want. So Dreizimmer means 3 rooms, and in Germany when you say 3 rooms or Dreizimmer, it means 1 living room and 2 bedrooms and not a 3 BHK flat like we tell in India. So if you are a family with kids, then you may need at least a 2-bedroom flat, right? So in that case you can choose a Dreizimmer flat. So here I'm selecting up Dreizimmer. And Zweizimmer means 1 living room and 1 bedroom. Now click here to see the results. Here you can see that Vierzimmer, Dreizimmer flats are all listed out. So let us check one example in detail. Let's look at this ad in detail. So this looks like this ad is posted by an agent. Her name and phone number is mentioned here. So here you have to understand one thing, that is not all ads posted here are by the owners themselves. Sometimes they hire an agent and it's them who publish the ads, and it's with them you will have to have further communications. But actually you do not have to worry about paying any cost to the agent, as you are just going to rent this flat and not buy this flat. So you can check out the photos of this flat here. So this is a Dreizimmer Wohnung with terrace and Einbauküche. Einbauküche means built-in kitchen. So we'll just look at the photos and see, here is the built-in kitchen that they have mentioned. And otherwise this flat looks like it's completely unfurnished. And here is the terrace. And the address of this flat is also given. And here you can see something known as Kaltmiete. Kaltmiete means cold rent, which means the rent not including the utility and maintenance cost. And here you can see something known as Warmmiete, which means the actual rent that you have to pay every month, including the utility and maintenance cost. So utility and maintenance cost, here it is known as Nebenkosten. So usually these costs will include your heating and water charges and also waste collection charges. So generally you pay a specified amount every month for this Nebenkosten, and the actual costs are actually settled at the end of the year. So in case if you have paid more, then you may get some excess amount back at the end of the year. So it is also mentioned here that this apartment has a Personenaufzug or passenger elevator. Etaja means floor. So totally this apartment has six floors, and your apartment is on the third floor. And Schlafzimmer means bedroom. So there are 2 bedrooms here. And Badezimmer means toilet or bathroom, and there is only one. Wohnfläche is the total area of your wohnung, and it is 98 meters square. And this means from when this flat is free. So sofort means immediately you can move in. And Zimmer is the number of rooms, as I mentioned earlier. So Dreizimmer means 1 living room and 2 bedrooms. And they mentioned about 1 Tiefgaragen. So ein Tiefgaragen, that means there is one underground parking space. And here they have mentioned in detail about the Kosten, which means a cost. And first one is the Kaltmiete. Next you can see Nebenkosten, which is 280 euros. So together you have the total rent or warm meter, that is 1970 euros. And there is a separate charge that you have to pay every month for the parking. That is 135 euros. And here is the caution deposit or the security deposit. So this will be usually equivalent to 3 months of your basic rent or the cold rent. And owners can use this deposit to pay for repairs if you leave your room in bad condition, or in order to settle your rent arrears. Then there is something known as the Energieausweis or energy certificate. So it is very important that you check the energy efficiency class of your flat. So here in this example, the energy efficiency class is not displayed. So let us look at another example. So in this example, you can see that the energy efficiency class is displayed. So if the energy efficiency class is A+, then it is very good, and H is the worst. That is, if the energy efficiency class is not very good, then your flat's insulation may not be good. For example, in cold climate, your room heater usage will be more in case if your flat's insulation is not good, and hence that will cost you more. So in this case, the energy efficiency class is B, which is okay. Now let us go back to our previous ad. Then you have something here known as the Objektbeschreibung. This is the description in detail about your wohnung regarding the number of rooms, the facilities available like fitted kitchen and so on. And here there is something known as Lager. Lager means location. So here it is mentioned in detail about the surroundings of our apartment, whether train stations are nearby, supermarkets are close, and so on. So it's very important that you read all this. You can just translate it and read everything. Then under Sonstigers, it is mentioned that you have to stay in this flat for a minimum of 1 year. So some owners will keep such a condition in their rental contract, and here it is also mentioned that there will be a gradual rise of the rent, that is exactly 3% of the cold rent every year for the first 3 years, and then it seems the rent will be constant thereafter. So this also depends upon your owner, and if any such conditions are there, it will be clearly mentioned in the rental contract. So please go through the conditions very clearly before you choose an apartment. There is another similar website like Immobilien Scout, that is called ImmoWelt, so you can check that website also. So here I have listed out some important terms related to rent and housing that you need to know, and its corresponding meaning in English. So you can just pause it and read. When we speak about the things that you should consider when choosing an accommodation, the first point would be whether to choose a furnished or an unfurnished apartment. So the advantage of choosing a furnished apartment, though it's pretty hard to find, is that you will not have to worry about anything inside the apartment, that is be it the furnitures, kitchen, the light fixtures, bulbs, everything will be inside the apartment already. So you just have to move in, and similarly when you move out also, you will not have this headache of moving all your furnitures to the next location, or even having to sell it to the next tenant like it happens here. But the problem here is that the rent will be really high, and since it's a furnished apartment, the details about all the furnitures, the light fixtures and everything inside the apartment will be clearly mentioned in your rental contract. So if you cause any damage to these, you'll have to pay for the repair costs. So it will be throughout your responsibility to having to take care of these things. Then if it is an unfurnished apartment, the problem is that it will just be completely unfurnished. You will not have any built-in cupboards, lighting fixtures, furnitures or anything inside. You will not have even kitchen also inside. It will be just completely empty, and you will have to buy almost everything for that apartment. So the only advantage here is that it will be comparatively easily available, and the rent will also be less. So when you have to take a decision whether you have to choose a furnished or an unfurnished apartment, mainly you have to understand the competition of house hunt in your area. Especially if it is a city, your chances of getting a flat itself will be less, and then suppose if you are having a bigger family, then you will need a more spacious room also. So when you get such a room, and if it is unfurnished, in that case what I would suggest is that go for this unfurnished apartment if it satisfies all your other priorities, but maximum go for a flat with at least an inbuilt kitchen, because buying a kitchen on your own from outside will be really expensive, and it will take at least some 3 to 6 months to get that kitchen fitted in your flat. So in our case also, since we did not get any flat here in Frankfurt suiting our main priorities, we went for a completely unfurnished apartment with literally nothing inside. So but again, if you are planning to stay for a long term in this same place, then in that case, and at the worst case, you can choose such an apartment which may be worth it. The next point that you may have to consider is whether to choose an apartment within the city or in the outskirts. So again, that is your decision. So if you choose an apartment in the outskirts, the rent would be obviously less. But here, if you don't own a car, then commuting might be difficult, especially if your workplace, hospitals, supermarkets, schools or kindergartens and so on are not nearby. Otherwise, you'll have to check if any bus stations or train stations are nearby your area with good connectivity to the city. The third thing that you should definitely consider is to check the energy efficiency class of your flat, which your owner might have to show you on request or otherwise also before you actually sign a rental contract. So as I said earlier, if this is not good, then you'll have to pay more, especially if your apartment is an old building or something which is called as Altbau here, then definitely you'll have to check this. The next thing is that if you own a car, then parking will be a matter of concern for you. So if you get a covered parking, then it's really good, even though you'll have to pay rent for that separately. But the benefit here is that you will not have to roam around for parking at any point, and during winter it's a real hurdle to clean the snow on the car glass panes. So if you have a covered parking, then you are saved there. But don't keep this as your first priority. It will be good if you get an open parking also within the apartment premises, or at least check if in that area you can get a roadside parking easily before you choose that apartment, because in some areas, especially in cities, this will be a real headache. Then another thing that you may have to consider is to check if a passenger lift is available in the apartment. I need not tell you the advantages of that, but if your flat satisfies all the other priorities like those I mentioned before, then you can keep this as the last priority. Then you can also check if the apartment has a cellar facility. Cellar is known as Keller in Germany. So it may be important because the rooms here will not be very spacious like in India. So it will be always good if you have a cellar to store things which you don't require every time. And if you have a car also, in order to store the summer or winter tires, this may be of great help. You can store these tires in the tire shop itself, but then you'll have to pay them a rent of around 70 to 80 euros. Then finally, it will be good if you have a guest toilet also, but of course this will not be a priority. Then speaking about the documents required, the first one will be you'll require a copy of your passport and visa. So some owners may give you an accommodation based on your visa duration. That is, if you have a long-term visa or a PR, then that will be a plus point. The next one is bank statements of last 3 months to show that you have a monthly income coming to your bank account. The third one is credit report or SHUFA. So this is to show your landlord your credit score. That is, if you do not have any debts in paying back the loans from banks, credit card bills, your previous rents and so on, then your credit score would be good. So the owners may choose you also based on the score. So if you do not have a SHUFA yet as a newcomer in Germany, then you can just show your bank statements. I'll show you how to take a SHUFA report. So you can get a SHUFA from Immobilien Scout 24 website. For that, just search Immobilien Scout 24 SHUFA in Google. And then click on this link. In this page, select Zum SHUFA, and then a form like this would be displayed. So here you have to just give your personal details. This is a very simple form. You can just translate it and read, and then you can just click on Weiter to submit. And then in the next page it will be asking for a payment. So I think you have to pay around 30 euros or something, and then you can get your SHUFA report. Then the second option is you can get a SHUFA report from this website known as SHUFA. Here select Meine SHUFA. And here there is something known as Datenkopie. Select Zum Formular here. And then click on this link. Then a page like this would be displayed. So you can get your free SHUFA report from this option known as Datenkopie. And there is also a paid SHUFA report that you can get, that is known as this one, that is Meine SHUFA Compact. So that is a paid one. So the features are all displayed here. That is the difference between paid and the one which is free. So you can just translate it and read, but actually you do not require to get a paid one, because you just need this thing called overview of your data, the first option. So you can just get a free one from this website. In order to order a SHUFA report, you can select this link. And then here again a simple form is displayed. So this just asks for your personal details. You can just simply translate it and read, and then if you select Weiter, it will be submitted, and then you'll get your free SHUFA report. Then the last one is you will have to fill out an application form which will be provided by the owners, and then hand it over to them. So these are the main documents that you'll have to submit. There may be other documents also which you'll have to submit. That depends upon your owner. The next important thing that you should be very much aware of is about the scam advertisements. So mainly such scammers will ask you for a deposit even before you actually see the house. So I'll just show you some sample emails. So initially when we were new in Germany, when we used to search for a Wohnung, when we see ads like this wherein they mention that for 600 euros you get a fully furnished flat in Frankfurt, we thought that that is a very good offer, and we used to contact these owners. And then when we contact them, they send some emails like this, which I'll be showing you now. And reading these emails, we got a doubt whether this is really genuine or not. And then luckily we showed to some of our friends, and they all told that these are scam emails. So the main hint that you get, like how you can find that this is scam email, is that you can check these scam emails that I'm going to show you. The thing is that the content would be the same in all these emails, though the senders would be different. The content is almost the same in all these emails. First, look at this scam email. As I told earlier, this owner is asking for a security deposit before even actually visiting the apartment, and this owner is not in Germany, so you cannot meet this owner in person. Then look at this email in German. I'll show you the English translation. So in this email you can see that the rent of a flat in Frankfurt just costs 560 euros including all the operating cost also. And then it's mentioned that the owner is not in Germany, he's in Italy right now, he's working in Italy, and that's why he's renting out his flat, it seems. So this is the main content found in most of the scam emails. That is, first thing is the person won't be available in person, the owner won't be available in person, and the second one is you should have a basic awareness about the rent in your area for a furnished and an unfurnished apartment. Then you can immediately get a hint whether this is a scam email or not just by looking at the rent. This is another similar email. It seems that you can rent a flat in Frankfurt for just 640 euros and it is fully furnished. Now look at this email. So here it is mentioned that the monthly rent is 750 euros, and again they have asked for a 1 month deposit, and the owner will not be available in person as usual, and it seems that he can arrange the visit and make the lease through Airbnb website. So seeing this name Airbnb, will think that it is a very genuine email, and if you just click on this link that they have mentioned, and if you just go a step forward, you will understand that it is spam. Now speaking about the things that you should know living here in Germany, the first one is that as a tenant, you have to always read the conditions mentioned in the rental contract before signing it. So I'll just tell about some conditions. The first one is some landlords may require you to paint the flat before you move out of that flat. So that will be mentioned in the rental contract. The second one is normally it is not allowed to grill on a balcony. So this will also be mentioned if it is so. Then the third one is you may be responsible for sometimes responsible for cleaning the common area in front of your flat and also your stairways. So this will also be mentioned if it is so. Then the fourth one is it will be clearly mentioned where you have to park your bicycles, baby carriages and so on. Then the fifth point is regarding the garbage separation, there will be usually separate garbage bins for plastic, paper and bio waste. Usually this will be kept within the apartment premises itself. So you should separate and dispose the wastes accordingly. And then the last one is you have to carefully read about the duration of the agreement, the deposit amount, the rent increasing information if it is mentioned. I think we have already discussed about this before. Then the notice period also that you have to bear before you move out of this flat. So read all these things carefully in the rental contract and then only sign the rental contract. Second one is, in general, it is a rule in Germany to avoid loud noises between 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. from Monday to Saturday and the complete day on Sundays. Third point is, you have to close all the doors and windows in your flat when you are going on a long vacation. The fourth point is, if you have any problem in your apartment, for example a pipe leakage or heater not working or something like that, then your immediate point of contact is housemeister or caretaker of your apartment, whose contact would also be mentioned in the rental contract. Fifth point is, as soon as you have found a new accommodation, you have to immediately inform your corresponding city registration office or Rathaus about your new address. Sixth point is, you can request for a mail routing service online in the Deutsche Post website. So here if you give a new address, they will reroute your letters to the new address. And also you have to ensure to stick a name board on your post box consisting of the names of all the members in your family so that you do not miss to receive any post. The last point is there is a minimum room size requirement for each person in Germany. So usually the owners will tell you about this. That is, suppose if you are a family of 4 and if you are looking for a 60 meter square flat, this may not be sufficient for you. That is, the owner may say that they cannot allow you because usually a 60 meter square is considered sufficient for a family of maximum 2 or 3. So if an additional person has to come, then he may require an additional 15 meter square again. So I'm not very sure about the exact size, so I just told you this for you to have an idea before you choose an accommodation. So that's it, friends. I hope you all would have found this video really informative. Please share this video with your friends who are newcomers in Germany. So I've shared all the information that I know regarding this topic. And as I always say, if you have liked this video, please do not forget to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel if you have liked other videos in my channel too. See you all in another video.